A zine is a small circulation, self-published magazine, typically made by a single person or maybe a very small group. It's often inexpensively produced, so it might be photocopied and stapled, or as you can see from some of the examples here, sometimes they're even just printed from a home printer. So in spring 2020, I started noticing some articles about, they were called Quaranzines. So I started kind of looking around to see what there was, and I found a lot of zines. This seems so significant and important, we really wanted to document it with a collection of its own. And it's still a work in progress. I would say we have about 80 to 90 right now. So the zines for this collection I found in a few different places. One was through articles and just kind of doing Google searches. I also found some through zine distros, which are small vendors that sell zines made by a variety of zine makers. And the vast majority of the zines you see here in this collection came from Etsy and purchasing directly from the creators themselves. I would say there's a few different themes. One is sort of the personal narrative, the everyday person documenting their experience. Outbreak, a zine, is based in Columbus, and their mission statement on the very first page is, "Welcome to Outbreak. We bring you delight in the darkness, misery in the light. We are pessimists in the grand historical tradition. We welcome content as dark and cynical as you please." And then a lot of quotes from different kinds of books and films about boredom, waiting, themes that will feel very familiar to anyone in the last 18 months. There's a few other smaller subsets as well. You'll see here that there are some humor zines that relay really practical information, but in a sort of hilarious way. Skeletor's Guide to Self-Quarantine. And so, as you can imagine, it is one of those humor zines that we have, and it's pretty actually laugh out loud funny, but then throughout the zine you also see very practical advice. One of the pieces of advice in Skeletor's Guide to Self-Quarantine is to learn something new. And so the advice says, okay, so I caved and signed up for one of those online courses on happiness. I'm not an expert here, people. I'm just a regular fantasy warlord with a talent for trouble trying to muddle my way through this crazy thing called life like everybody else. There's been some really great tips that I've picked up. But if you don't have a class on happiness, I've seen free courses on learning how to code, modern political thought, tricking He-Man, Russian literature, how to escape the Comet Keeper, and even Buddhism. You can even try your hand at origami. Others are more specific and thinking about very particular challenges like how to deal with being unemployed during the pandemic or how to deal with having autism during the pandemic. So this is National Treasures. As you can see from the cover, it's a fanzine dedicated to frontline workers, and it's based in England, and it's a collection of essays written by healthcare workers in the last year and a half about their experiences working in medicine and providing care and working with patients. It's really moving and important to see these personal accounts written in real time as we were living through and continue to be living through the pandemic. So one that really jumps out at me in particular is this essay by a filmmaker who took a temporary job as a cleaner in a hospital, and so she's talking about what that is like and what she sees and learns through that experience. This collection has a lot of zines that really speak to our universal experience. And as soon as you open them, there's going to be something that probably feels familiar or resonates with you. And that's really powerful. Zines are not for everyone, but if there's something you're interested in, check out a few. They're easy to get a hold of. I think the thing about reading zines is that you often start to get really excited about the idea of making your own. And as you can see, there's an infinite number of ways to make a zine. There's no wrong way to do it. So it's really just about time and inspiration and creativity and what you particularly have to say.